A stereotypical sex-addicted client will have a developing addiction for about 2 years, where things are just getting increasingly worse. And during that time, a partner will have suspicions, right? But of course, there's a lot of denial during that time. And then there's typically a discovery and or a disclosure that happens. Closure will typically happen as a staggered disclosure, but there are times where forced disclosures happen because of legal ramifications or other external factors. Keyword being external, but external things happen that force the sex addicts to disclose to the partner. And then that causes a crisis in the partner. And the partner will either want to break up or want the addict to get treatment. And so that's typically when we get the phone call. We get the phone call and we can say that, you know, they're in treatment, and so that's what we call the early recovery phase. The early recovery phase lasts about 18 months. And during that time, we see a lot of denial happening, right? Again, there's a lot of external forces that are motivating the client to be there. There could be legal ramifications, financial ramifications, relational ramifications with the partner, spouse, or family also. Then we support the addict in breaking through their denial and supporting them in their emotional aftershock, and then in their grief, and then as they start to stabilize. While the CSAT model doesn't say, hey, this is a time where you would recommend somebody do 12-step, it still could be encouraged, right? To say like, hey, you're going through this alone, it's going to be tricky, there's a lot going on, and my recommendation would be for you to start a 12-step program so that you're around other addicts too, and so you know what it's like, and so you get a little bit of hope, because it is hard, especially if we're going to white knuckle it and if we're trying to establish sobriety. So then after that, we would have mid-recovery, and mid-recovery is about another 18 months, and during that stage, we're doing more depth work. So this would be more of the repair stage. We want to understand multiple addictions, acknowledge cycles of abuse, reduce shame, restructure the relationship with self, grieve losses, and bring closure and resolution. Taking responsibility for self. During mid-recovery, this is marked by having quite a bit more stability. The addict during recovery is doing it for the self, and there's more of an intrinsic motivation. We also start to see more trauma processing, but we also want to go slow at the same time. Then we have late recovery, which puts us at about 3 to 5 years. Could be even 2+ years. So this is what we call the growth stage. During this stage, we see the reestablishing of healthy sexuality, and we support the partner in having more transparent conversations with partners. This is also a lot of the work of like what life will look like in the future. So it's like we manage the crises, We gathered more stability, and now we're moving more toward the future. Again, what life is going to be looking like. And here we work on restoring financial viability, restoring meaningful work, creating lifestyle balance, building supportive personal relationships, establishing health, exercise, and motivation. Motivation patterns, nutrition patterns. And then we want to develop a spiritual life. So, yes, building that supportive personal relationships. It's really important during this stage. People come in at different stages of recovery with different situations, which shift the different timelines. Love addicts are more likely to go through sexual anorexia than pure sex addicts. And it's important to know that every behavior that is an addictive behavior is an attempt to get attachment needs met.